Good afternoon, everyone. We're here with Point Park men's golf coach Gabe Bubon, and we're here to talk about the upcoming season of the Pioneers. They get going this weekend with their first tournament of the spring. Coach, thanks for coming in today.
Hey, thanks for having me, KT.
Coach, looking ahead to this spring, what are your general feelings about the team and where they are and the season outlook?
Well, the guys are ready to go. We've been practicing indoors because this beautiful western Pennsylvania weather we've been having hasn't quite let us get outside yet, but we've been indoors every day. Guys are ready. They're prepared. They know what's at stake this year, and we're all pretty excited about the upcoming season.
Is it tough to get going in the winter months? You're out at the RMU Golf Dome. Or is it just what you guys are used to?
Well, February always goes slow, and then when you get to March, you start to get that feel for, okay, it's coming, and then next thing you know, when you're like a week or two away, it really starts to hit you, and that's when everybody's mindset seems to start to change a little bit.
Now, Coach, you have a veteran group. You have some guys like Austin Elder, who's played just about every hole of golf since the program was reinstated 4 years ago. You got guys like Chris Bowen, James Daly in their third year, Colin Holmes last couple years, and also Billy Wyville the last couple years, and some new guys within the last year or two. Do you feel like that's a nice mix to achieve your goals this coming spring?
Yeah, as a coach, you always like to know what you have, and I've had these guys for quite a long time now. It seems Austin, James, and Chris Bowen, 3 of the last 4 years. Yeah, we're a veteran group, and that's what you want when you're coaching a team. They you know what you're going to get. Unless they just don't get it done, I'm pretty comfortable with what we got.
Now, you won the AMC last year, the American Mid-East Conference, but of course the AMC folded. Now you're in the KIAC. How's the adjustment there? Do you feel like you could translate what you did in the AMC over to the KIAC?
Yeah, I think it's a pretty equal change. The KIAC is, they're good, but from a scoring average and from what we have back, having a veteran team, I think we have a very legitimate chance to contend for the KIAC championship and get that automatic bid to the national tournament in Oregon. But the AMC was fun. It was, once Malone left, it was pretty much open for anybody to win, and that's how we feel about the KIAC this year.
Now you're picked third in the KIAC preseason poll. How do you feel about that, and how do you think that all will shake out?
Well, we like that. We like being the underdog, but I will guarantee you ask any one of my guys who's going to win the KIAC this year, and they're going to say Point Park. That's just the type of guys we have, and that's who we are. But we like being underdogs. That's something we build off of, and I know the guys were they were a little upset, and I like that though. They're competitive by nature, and they're gonna hopefully show everybody what we got.
You touched on the personality of the team, and if you could elaborate more on that. These guys seem like, I don't know if it's a cockiness, but a little bit of the way they carry themselves, a little swagger, a little bit of that type of thing, but keeping with the gentleman's game. What can you say about the personality of your team?
Yeah, they teeter on that line of golf etiquette and a little cocky swaggerness. But I like that. I think in golf, to be successful, you have to have a little edge, and they all pretty much seem to have that. They are who they are. I love them to death. There's sometimes that they may get a little loud or get a little excited on the golf course, and then they calm it down. But they're starting to grow out of that, and that's really starting to show me that they're maturing into the guys that they need to be.
But I guess that's team golf at times. We see in these different Ryder Cups or whatnot. You have to have that from time to time. But if you could talk about some of the individuals, I guess it would make sense to start with Austin Elder, the senior. Seems like he's been here like 6 or 8 years. But what does he bring? He's just so solid. What are his strengths?
Oh, he's just consistent. I pretty much know I'm going to get out of him. It's going to be between a 72 and a 76. And as your one guy, you need that. And he can go under par, but I mean, as long as he stays around that even par 74, 75 mark, that's what we need. I mean, that sets the tone for everybody else. And but yeah, like we said, Austin's been here 4 years now. I can't believe he's finally graduating. I mean, he was my first recruit. I told him all this stuff about hopefully making the national tournament and this and that, and now we actually have a chance to accomplish that. So it's exciting.
Moving on to a couple of juniors, James Daly, Chris Bowen, been there 3 of the 4 years since golf was reinstated. What do they bring, those two guys?
Well, Chris, I'm really excited about this year. He couldn't quite crack that top 5 last year. He was like the 6th man. That guy was just on the outside looking in, and that made him very hungry. I mean, he's been in the weight room. He's been at the Dome every day. I mean, he's a golf fanatic. I'm expecting big things out of him. And James Daly, he's just Mr. Joe Cool out there. You never know if he's 5 over or 5 under. He's never changes his demeanor. He's always going to be around that 76 to 81 range, and that's what we need. He knows his role. Doesn't hit the ball very far, but he's a great putter and he's great around the greens, and he likes being in that 5 spot. He loves it. He doesn't want to be anywhere else.
Now on to a couple of guys that are in their 2nd year. Starting off with Billy Wyville, a transfer, came in last year. He's a senior now. A little bit of attitude there in a good way, I guess. What does Billy bring?
Wild Bill. Bill gives me a lot of headaches sometimes, but I love the kid to death. He's just very enthusiastic about life, about golf, about everything, and he gets a little excited at times, but I like to be his shadow and calm him down and keep him cool. But Billy's done good for us this year and last year. I mean, he's come in. He's had some really good rounds for us. He's very capable. He could win this tournament.
A guy who could go low, but also maybe if we got away from him, you got to watch that. But
yeah,
that sort of thing.
But, I mean, Billy, he's the ultimate competitor. He's going to go out there and he's going to compete. He's going to be loud in his outfit, and hopefully not too loud on the golf course, but he's going to compete, and that's what I look for.
And then another guy who was actually all-conference last year as a freshman, Colin Holmes, back for his sophomore year. Guy has, seems like a lot of game there.
Yeah, Colin, great freshman year. I mean, he came up really big for us, especially in the conference tournament. I mean, he birdied 2 of the last 3 holes when we made a great comeback. I don't know, this fall he kind of hit maybe the sophomore wall a little bit. He had some high rounds, but it was more of a mental outlook, I think. But I think he's back, and I expect big things out of him this year and for the next 3 years.
It's looking like those 5 will be the 5 that you go with probably this first tournament this weekend. But who are the other 3-4 guys that are challenging to get in that top 5?
Well, we've got Steve Vett. He's going to be making the trip down with us this week. He's going to be our alternate. Steve's been playing good this fall. I mean, he's been itching to crack that top 5, and I'm going to give him the opportunity. That puts a little pressure on James Daly and maybe a Billy or a Chris Bowen. But, I mean, that's what we need. We need to stay competitive. Jerry Farrell, he's going to be a senior. Jerry's always the ultimate competitor. He always works hard. He just got to stay more consistent. Alex Reynolds is a new guy from CCAC. He's a solid golfer. He's getting used to the college game, but he's shown a lot of promise. Shane Killian too. He's been having a little health problems lately, but he's a solid guy. He can keep it in the high 70s.
And of course, you got to develop those guys because with some junior and seniors there, 4 of your top 5, you got to bring them along at some point.
Yeah, and Michael Popovic too. I mean, he's been close all year. He's just been teetering on that 5-6 spot, but he's been working hard. I don't know if it's going to be this year, but definitely the next 2 years he'll be a solid contributor for us.
All right, Coach, want to have a little fun with this one here. We're going to play a little bit of who's the best on the team at certain things. Best guy at fairways and greens, the guy that's just consistent and hitting it right.
Fairways and greens, I'd probably have to say Mr. Austin Elder. Doesn't hit the ball real far, but he keeps it in play, and that's the name of the game.
Okay, best putter on the team.
Um, that varies. They all have their days, but from a consistency standpoint, I'm going to probably say James Daly, just because he has to be, because he doesn't hit the ball real far, and he's always just around the green, so he gets up and down a lot. The other guys hit the ball far, but I'd give it to James Daly as the most consistent putter.
Okay, the best long ball, the guy who can really hit it out there. Who's the best?
Colin Holmes right now. He's a big kid. I mean, he's 6'4". He really gets into it. When he hits the ball, he hits the ball. I playing the scramble with him last summer, and I hit the ball decently long, but I was 30, 40 yards behind him, and he let me know about it every time.
All right, very good, Coach. Last thing here, you touched on it a little bit, but the goal of this team do you flat out talk about the goal with your team of KIAC title, national tournament, or what do you have to say about that?
They all know the main goal. I mean, we want to win. We want to win the conference. We want to get to that national tournament. We want to send Austin and Billy out on the right note, especially Austin from what we started from to where we are now. But we're gonna get a real good idea where we're at this weekend. All the KIAC teams are gonna be there, and we're gonna get to play a practice round at the conference tournament course on Thursday. So we'll have a pretty good feel after this weekend, and but our goal is always the same: it's to win every tournament and make it to the nationals.
Where do you need to be score-wise? Breaking 300, right around 300. I mean, I would think anything under 300 would be excellent, even 305 or so.
Yeah, we like to be in that 295 to 305 range. There's going to be a lot of pressure on every team at that conference tournament. There's 3 or 4 teams that can come out of there and win and make it to the nationals. So I think just every team knowing that, I think it's going to bump the scores up a little bit. But if we can hover around that 295 to 305 mark, I think we have a very legitimate chance.
All right, very good, Coach. That'll do it for this pre-spring season interview with Point Park men's golf head coach Gabe Bubon. I want to wish you luck this spring, Gabe, and thanks for coming in today.
Kev, thanks for having me, brother.